Hi everybody, it's Anne from M. Walsh Quilting. I just wanted to pop in and share a bit today with you about the quilting I'm doing on my house quilt. So if you were following my Facebook post the other day, you'll know that I did a lot of recording with my little action camera and converted the files over to my computer and got the video all ready to go, and it will not share. And I don't know what's wrong because I'm not doing anything different than I've ever done with those files. But I've rebooted and everything, and I just can't get it to work. So I'm really sorry about that. Unfortunately, that means I won't be able to show you some of the stitching that I was doing on the white because it's all done now. So I can't just redo it, but I'm still working on houses. So I'm just going to flip the camera around and show you the stitching that's already done in the white areas, and then kind of show you what I'm working on right now.
Okay, so on the smaller house blocks, I've done some pebbles in various sizes to make it look like a little cobblestone walk. And then I wanted something that looked like it was growing up from the ground and up around the house. I didn't feel like there was enough space here to actually make a separate sky and then kind of chop it and make the vine and then the house. So that was just my own design preference. So I decided to bring the vine up and around, and then you'll see on the bigger houses there are spirals in the sky area around the house. And then beside the houses, depending on where they're located on the quilt, I've done a picket fence and then brought the spirals up and around to meet the vines from the smaller houses. Now on the rows where there are three big houses in the center and the small ones are on the end, you can kind of see it's rolled up here, but I've got a picket fence on either side of that middle house. So then you would see, just like with the small one where you see the vines going up and into the sky, on these big ones in the center, you'll see the swirls coming up from the pickets and going up into the sky. And I'll show you pictures of that at the end of the video. And then you can get an idea of what's happening. So I want to mention while we're here where these house block patterns came from. They're from Thimble Blossoms, and that is Camille, who is part of Bonnie and Camille, and they design fabric for Moda. I'm sure you're familiar with their fabric lines. They are beautiful, and they're always adding new ones, so check them out. This is from her Dwell 2 house quilt pattern, the small one, and I already had that because I made the Dwell 2 house quilt there in one of Bonnie and Camille's fabric line. I think this was Camille at Home, the blue and greens. I think that's what it was called. And then I was looking for an alternate house so that I could have a variety and not have them all the same house on the quilt. And I saw a video where she was working on her Winterville quilt pattern, and that has a lot of other designs on it as well, but there are a few of these houses, and I liked it because it looks kind of cottagey to me, and I liked the, this little unique design up in the roof area. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna get that quilt pattern and I'll use that block for my big houses and use the Dwell 2 blocks for my small houses. And then hopefully, and I think it's working, but when it's all done and you can look kind of at the whole quilt finished, it'll look like the smaller houses are set back in the street, if you want to call it a street, but the village, whatever, they're a little bit set back from the big houses. So there should be hopefully a little bit of a depth perspective going on there. So I will play the video that I did get today of stitching on these two houses here. So you can just kind of see what I did with my rulers and how I got the texture in there. Very basic free motion quilting and some ruler work, and you can see that it's popping up really nicely. Depending on the color of the roofs, you might see more texture on something like that. When I take it off the frame, of course, the texture is going to pop. There's wool batting underneath this, and I'm really excited to see how it all comes out. And that's my backing. I just love that gingham backing. This line is called Bloomington, and it's from Lella Boutique. And I got hold of it back in March and had to wait a month for it to come, but I knew I wanted this for my house quilt. I've also got a little rug in my kitchen that I made out of this fabric line. I just love the colors. So the gingham is not part of the fabric line, but when I saw it and when I was looking for backing, I had to have it because I just love gingham, and I'm gonna bind it with the gingham too, I'm pretty sure.
So I'll just give you one last lengthy look there at what I'm doing. And then I will connect this to the other video that shows you my stitching. So I hope you enjoy watching. And again, sorry I couldn't get the video of the swirls and the vines happening. But I'm sure you've seen me do this kind of stitching before. I just love the texture that it gives. And I also should mention the contrast. So I wanted a contrast between what was happening in the white. I love stitching on white. There's just something about it that makes me very, very happy. I love the effect of it, but I didn't want it to all be the same thing. So I debated about that, if I should make all the sky swirls or all the sky feathers or what I should do. And then I just kind of started, I think, with the first small house near the bottom of the quilt and just got this design going and thought, okay, that's what I want. And then the next day when I came down to work on the big house, I was like, okay, picket fence and swirls, and it just blends really nicely together. I love how it shows the different textures on that white. All right, I'll stop talking now. I'll put the other video on, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.